In the comments, someone recently asked, do I only buy coins from the 4 for $1 bin? When I go to a show or a dealer, I like to start there just because that's where you're going to find the best possibility of bargains. But I know there's some coins that you're just never going to be able to find in a cheap bin like that. So I will look through some of the carded coins, and of course these are going to cost a little bit more. All the coins in this video ended up costing me $60. And I bought them from a dealer named Dennis. He shows up at all of the Knoxville, Tennessee once-a-month coin show. I believe he's there every month. And he deals exclusively with foreign coins and tokens. So he's got quite a collection of both. And I've ranked these videos with a couple of exceptions. I've ranked everything by the least I paid to the most expensive is going to be at the very end. We're going to start with this coin, which cost 40 cents. This is going to be from the country of Tonga, and on this coin it features a hen with 4 chicks. This is an FAO coin, and so we've got some coconuts on this side, and the words on this side essentially translate to grow more food. I do like how the Steeler is pretty good with putting a lot of details on here. Really highlights the mintage of some of the coins that are harder to find, so that is a good thing. So he's got the catalog number, the value, and the year written on all the flips, so that makes things convenient for me. Next coin is going to be from Guernsey. This one is the half new penny. So I do like the 3 lions on a shield design that we see on their coins, and kind of an old-fashioned, I guess you'd say, font or typeface that appears on the coins here. This one is the half new penny, so it's the same shape and size as the British half new penny in 1971. For all these coins, what I paid will be written in red ink on here, so you can see that is pretty much what I paid. This dealer didn't give any discounts, but some of these were priced below book price anyway. So our next coin is going to be from Gibraltar, another country that has the same shape and size as their British counterpart coins. So this one is going to be a 2 pence. And oftentimes Gibraltar will have the 4 keys symbolism. So first of all, at the top it has the date of 1704 to 2004, so that is essentially the 300th anniversary of the United Kingdom occupying Gibraltar. But Gibraltar was essentially considered the keys to the Mediterranean, so it was important to have as a stronghold. Our next coin is going to be an aluminum coin from Nepal. On their Vikram calendar, it has a date here of 2049. He couldn't read the date, so he just put the dates that the coin was produced. So on our calendar, that is 1992. And as we take a closer look here, above the middle here is, I don't know what you would call that kind of headdress, but it was a something that their king or their ruler, their Shah, would wear. So some kind of ceremonial headdress specifically for the ruler. On this side we see where it's a 25 paisa. And there is a 0.2 version of that coin where it was a reduced size. We've got a number of Croatian coins in a row that we're going to go ahead and look at, even though we're going to get them out of pricing order. We're going to start with this one, the 1 lipa. This is not a coin that I remembered having because it is the smallest denomination that they've made. And it's got corn on this side. The Croatian word for corn is written around here, kukuruz. This coin was made only in odd years, and so the date at the bottom is 1997. They like to put a period after the date on many of their coins. So that one is the 1 lipa. This coin has been produced as recently as 2021, as in 2023 is when they switched over to the euro. So this coin was made every odd year from about 1993 through 2021. So there are going to be 2 versions of almost every common circulating Croatian coin. There is the version in odd years, which is made out of, or which is going to have the name of what's on there in the Croatian language, but in even years, they have the Latin scientific name of what's going to be on the coin, and they are harder to find. So this one is the 1 kuna from Croatia. It's got a mockingbird on it. I'm wrong. It's a nightingale. And the more common odd number year version of this, it has the letters Slavuj go across the top. But here we have the scientific name, so that looks like Luscinia megarhinchos. It is version 0.2 of the coin because the first year they made this coin, they made a mistake and put 2 N's for the spelling of the Latin scientific name. They made, I looked up the mint totals on these, and he didn't write it on this coin. They made about 2 million of these every even year. Sometimes they only made them for proof and mint sets, but they generally made 2 million. But on all of the odd number year coins where it had the more common Croatian text, they made usually between 20 to 40 million of those every year. So these are a lot harder to come by. For every one of these, you would have 10 of the odd number years. Next up on the 5 lipa, we have the red oak, or Quercus robur. I probably mispronounced that, but if I say it with confidence, you're going to think I know what I'm saying. The 5 lipa, and this is again the even number year with a scientific name. And then our last Croatian coin, also from an even year. This one is the 2 lipa. And a Vitis vinifera is the Latin name for grapevine, made in 1998. So one thing to point out on this, in their language, all of their other lipa coins are spelled L-I-P-A, but the 2 is spelled L-I-P-E, and it has to do with Croatian grammar, where if it's the singular, then it would end in an A. If it is the plural, it would also end in an A, just like the singular, but they have a third case here called the genitive singular for the numbers 2, 3, and 4 of an item, where instead of an A, it ends in the letter E. So I've seen a couple other languages do that, so I just wanted to point that out, how the 2 lipa, since they don't make a 3 or a 4 lipa, the 2 is the only one where the lipa ends in an E instead of an A. As we move to another country, we have French Oceania. Later on, this coins in this region, they called them French Polynesia, so we're thinking of Tahiti and Bora Bora. This one is the 5 franc. They only made 4 coins ever for French that were labeled for French Oceania. The half a franc, the 1, and the 2 were all made in 1949. So this is the only one that was made in a different year, and only in the year of 1952. And then on this side, we've got a look that was similar to a lot of French-controlled countries at the time, where we have the seated Marianne holding a torch and a cornucopia of fruits. Next, from Egypt, we have this coin, which is a 5 piastres, and so it shows a mother holding their child in front of a UNICEF logo, the United Nations Children's Welfare Organization. And people like to point out on this coin that they misspelled UNICEF. It's supposed to be UNICEF, and they got the two letters at the back switched up. They didn't correct it, so there's not an alternate version where it's spelled correctly. But I believe, based on the dates, what do we have here? The 25th anniversary of UNICEF. This side's the 5 piastres, and has the date in Arabic on here of 1392, which is 1972 on our calendar. As we go to Thailand, we have comes from a time they've liked to have a lot of 1-year circulating commemorative coins. This one is the 1 baht from 1975, features King Rama IX and his wife, Queen Sirikit. This one features the logo for the 8th SEAP Games. That's going to be the Southeast Asian Peninsular Games, sort of like a regional version of the Olympics. This event still goes on, except they dropped the peninsula part off of it, so now it's just the SEA Games, because they've included places like the Philippines and Indonesia with it. Next, we have a coin from Bhutan. This one is the 20 chetrams. And after that last coin, I had sports on the brain, so my first thought is this is a scene of someone playing golf, except they got the ball stuck in the rough somewhere. That's actually not what's going on here. This one is going to be an FAO coin. It says food for all on the back. So this one is actually someone farming. While it looks like they're holding a golf club on here, it's actually has about 3 prongs on it. So it's something that they would use to harvest the rice or whatever they're farming on this side. The same year, they made a silver version of this coin, which was the 15 Ngultrams coin. That was a purely commemorative coin. Now we'll go to a more modern coin from Malawi. On this side, we have the coat of arms. A couple of lions over a shield. We've got an eagle there at the very top. This coin is made out of stainless steel clad iron. It's the 5 kwacha, and it's made 2015. This side features a purple heron. This coin was made the years 2012 through 2018. And then now we have a modern bimetallic coin from Kenya. The 10, they spell it different ways, 10 shillings and 10 shillingi. Of course, we've got a lion on here, bimetallic with the number 10 on this side. I believe this is one of 4 coins that they made to circulate in 2018. Next, we move to Australia, where we have a coin honoring APEC. The other side, he wrote down what APEC stands for, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. So Australia wanting to form a coalition with a lot of their nearest neighbors. So this is made up of 3 7-pointed stars. If you look closely, these are all boomerangs that make up the star. So there are 21 boomerangs on here. One thing that was noted about this coin was people who actually participated in the conference, which was held in Australia this particular year, the attendees were actually given a proof version of this coin that came in a special VIP case, and they made 250 of those, and so they would be really difficult to come by. I guess the 21 boomerangs represent the 21 member countries which make up this cooperation. We'll move on to Peru for this coin from 2019. This side looks pretty similar to most of the other coins, but in this year of 2019, they had a set of 10 coins that they called the endangered fauna. So it was 10 endangered species of animals from Peru. This specific one is for the Andean cat. I believe the circle to the left of the one is supposed to be the stylized signature of the artist. Here's another coin that has the scientific name written on the coin. Now we'll move to the relatively new bimetallic dollar from Singapore, where it's got Singapore written in 3 different languages, or 4 different languages, 3 different alphabets. So it's the $1 coin, and a lot of their newer coins feature what they call the lion motif. We have this symbol on most of their newest coins. And on the right there, we have a lion head on top of a mermaid body. So this is the merlion. That is important symbolism in Singapore. There's even a prominent statue of the merlion there by the bay. So I didn't realize until looking this up that Singapore loosely translates to the Lion City. And they want to emphasize the lions because of how it represents strength. But then the mermaid because of how the being right next to the sea is important to them economically. And then we also have the smaller imprint there of an orchid with micro engraving. Next we have a penny from British West Africa. Made, not silver, but made out of copper nickel. I am working on putting together a set of all of the coins that say Edward VIII that were made during his reign. There aren't many, so it's not going to be a difficult set to complete. But at the time, the British West Africa was still using the British pre-decimal system, so that's why we have a 1 penny coin. But then we'll move from East Africa to British West Africa, and I've got another one of the set. Now, even though the East African people were still using the pre-decimal system. Here in West Africa, I'm getting confused here, but East Africa here is using the decimal system. They switched in 1921, and this coin was made in 1936, the partial year that Edward VIII was the King of Britain, before he abdicated. And these are highly collectible because there just aren't a lot of coins that have Edward VIII written on them. So that makes it a one-year coin, and even a partial year coin at that. Now we're moving to one of the former Soviet countries, Kyrgyzstan. This is the 5 som coin. Kyrgyzstan made a 1, a 3, and a 5 som coin. The 3 looks just like this one, but a little bit smaller. The 1 is even smaller than the 3, but the little pouch here is on the right of the number. I mean, to the left of the number. And that pouch is called a kukor, which was a leather drink container. And all 3 of those coins were made in the year 2008. On this side, we see the coat of arms of Kyrgyzstan. Next, we have a coin from Burundi. So this is a hard country to find coins from. It is during the short-lived Kingdom of Burundi, which lasted from 1962 to 1966. It features the that translates to royal, so it's the Royal Bank of Burundi. This side features the coat of arms. At the time featured a lion on top of a shield. At the top is a ceremonial drum, 1 laurel to the left, and then 4 spears. Next, we have a coin from Muscat and Oman. Apparently, this coin is a really tough coin to come by. It is the 2 Baisa. The catalog noted that in their spelling, they spelled it as Z instead of an S, where every other coin they ever made was with an S, just like it's written right here. But this one would be actually the 2 Baisa instead of Baisa. And then on this side translates to essentially say Sultan of Muscat and Oman, Said bin Taimur. He was the Sultan of Muscat and Oman until 1970, when he was overthrown by his son. And when his son took power, he decided to rename the country to get rid of the Muscat for the sake of unity, and called the entire country by just the name of Oman, which is what they still call it today. So this coin is apparently really rare, and looking in the catalog, the catalog says if you found this coin in mint state 60 condition, would be worth $17. And even Nemista put a very fine value of $20 on here. And unfortunately, I don't think this one even quite makes it to very fine, just because all the details there in the middle are pretty well worn. Next, we have a circulating commemorative coin from the Soviet Union, made in 1991. This is the last year that the Soviet Union existed and made coins. This one features, it was the 550th birthday of Alishir Navai. who was a writer and poet from an area called Khorasan, which is the part of the Soviet Union which is closer to the Middle East. Their territory made up a lot of the countries that now end in Stan that were part of the Soviet Union back then. So Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. So it shows how he was born and lived from 1441 to 1501. This coin does not have a mint mark, so that means it was made in Moscow. And there also is an error version of this coin where they put the date of 1990 instead of 1991. This next coin is going to be going to highlight, has it written in English at the bottom, Thammasat University. Thammasat is essentially the Thai word for the study of law. And this was the 60th anniversary of that university in 1994. The logo on here represents the Democracy Monument in Bangkok that makes the university seal. And that monument shows the Thai Constitution on top of a couple of bowls in front of the wheels of law. We flip this one over and we have Rama the Ninth along with Rama the Eighth. So these are the two kings of Thailand who have lived at this time while the university has been around. Next, we have a short-lived currency from Romania. This is going to be the 50 bani. That's all that's written on this side. This is from Romania in 1947. This comes from the reform coinage of August 15th of 1947. And then Romania switched to the People's Republic of Romania in 1949. And then they had another reform coinage that wiped this one out in 1951. So whoever made this flip said this coin was extra fine, and I guess I agree with that. And they noted that very fine booked for $3, so I got a bargain here because it's a better grade than what I paid for. We've got another Australian dollar, celebrating the year of the Outback. The Outback is one of those places that I think everyone who doesn't live in Australia would like to visit, but no one would want to live there. And as we have the shape of Australia on here, and you'll notice the lines leading up to the stars that form the Southern Cross, which appears on the Australian flag. This coin appears with some alternate versions. There is a version made out of silver. There's a version that is colorized. And there are also versions that have different letters stamped into it as a kind of as a mint mark, but also counter-stamped on it, like you'd see a B or a C on here, which were available for purchase at several events around the country that celebrated the year of the Outback that particular year. So if you'd picked one up from one of those events, then you would have gotten a special version with a limited edition counter-stamp on it. We have ourselves a silver coin. This one's going to be from the Netherlands. Now let me pause and say I purchased this coin in September of 2025, and silver had been just about $30 for quite a bit. and was just starting to move there in September. And of course, it has really skyrocketed since I purchased this coin. I only bought this coin for the silver content. I already had it, 64% silver, because I got it below spot even back then. And of course, the price on this would have doubled even since then. This is the most common date of this coin, 1918, so purely for the silver value. We have a bimetallic coin from Morocco. This one is going to be a 10 dirhams coin. This coin features King Hassan II. This coin does have a couple of 5-pointed stars on it, so there is a variation whether you have the low star or the high star. This one is going to be the low star, because where it appears on the obverse, it's closer to the bottom of ring, or the bottom of the edge, than it is to the ring. And then as we flip it over on this side, the star is also lower, as it is closer to the bottom circle than it is to the outer rim on the reverse. The coin was only made in 1995. Here's another coin that I got for a bargain just based on condition. And there's a note that the dealer put on here. This coin does not age well, because all the coins made out of zinc during World War II rarely stay this color. They usually turn black. They're brittle. They break apart. They fade well. They corrode and turn white and almost fuzzy looking. So this one is really good condition. Was made for Tunisia when it was still a French protectorate. I guess I should hold it like this. Got just enough space where it can kind of rotate inside the flip, which is kind of surprising for how it seems like it shouldn't based on the size, but it has a little bit since I've gotten this one. But 1942, this comes from the last year of the ruler being Ahmed II. So yeah, the book price on this would be $8. Remember what I said about silver doubling in price since I visited the show and purchased this coin? Here we have a Mexican Libertad bullion coin, which always has a high variance between the spot price and what they sell it for. It just so happens that this one is in pretty rough shape, and they didn't add much of a premium to it. As you can see, this one might grade out fine condition. But especially these smaller silver bullion coins, I don't like buying them because of the variant. I wouldn't want to buy a coin that has $2 worth of silver and then pay $5 for it just as a premium. But this one, since it was in kind of poor shape, I decided to go ahead and buy it. There weren't many of these made. It was only made from 1991 to 1995, and the date of 94 is written right here. And then starting in 1996, they redesigned this coin to get rid of all the stars that go across the top and put all the writing, like the date, the purity, and the 1/20th of an ounce along the top. And then there was only a 90,000 of these made. And then he also went and weighed this one. It should be 0.05 ounces, and so it's well worn enough to have lost 0.0004 ounces on here. So I guess that's him being honest. So at the time, the spot price on this would have been $1.75, and of course that has since more than doubled. We have a Notgeld coin, and apparently this dealer had purchased someone who was a very well-versed in Notgeld coins. These are the German coins around the date of World War I, where Germany was having trouble keeping up with coins, and so he put all of the relevant, whoever owned this put all the relevant dates on here, including the Funk catalog number of 51.2A. This one, this Notgeld coin made in 1920, made by the city of Bonn. Going to be a 25 Pfennig featuring Beethoven. Before we get to Beethoven, we'll show the side with the value on it. Most of the Notgeld coins I've seen are either made out of iron or zinc. And so to find an iron coin that has not rusted at all, I think was pretty good. And I probably had 50 different ones I could choose from. They're all kind of pricey. But to get one in this good condition that hadn't rusted and has someone that I've heard of on it is pretty good. And so the dealer had written this. This was worth $350 back in 2022. I don't know how much the market moves on this. At one point, he wanted to sell it for $5. But Bonn is the city where Beethoven was born in 1770. And how convenient for them that as it was a time for cities, municipalities to make their own coins, that they had someone really famous who is having an anniversary, an important anniversary birthday. So this was 150 years later that they could make this Beethoven coin. Personally, I think this coin's in better shape than very fine. This side's a little bit rough because it has spots on it, but the other side I thought was in really good condition on here. So I don't have the Funk catalog, so I don't know exactly what the catalog value of this one's going to be, but the Numista seems to think it's worth $8, so I am glad to have gotten this one for $350. So yeah, Beethoven was born and raised for the first about 20 years of his life in the city of Bonn. This next coin I may have overpaid for just because it is in, I guess the detail is there, but this one's kind of stained on a bimetallic coin. Doesn't have as good of an eye appeal for it. But if you said this was uncirculated, then I did pay what the catalog says it's worth. This is from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And of course, that was a region that went through a lot of turmoil when Yugoslavia was falling apart. But economically, they turned things around when they pegged their currency to the German mark. So they called their currency the convertible marka. Convertible meaning you could cash in a Bosnian mark and get a German mark. But it wasn't too far after this that the Germans converted to the euro. So now the Bosnian convertible mark is now pegged to the euro at the same rate that the German mark was, which was nearly 2 marks to 1. Not quite, but very close to that. So this would be worth about €1 in foreign exchange value. We flip this one over. We've got a dove on here, and 2 different languages here. It says this is a dove of peace because it has an olive branch in its mouth. That's written in Latin and Cyrillic. So now we get to the last coin of the video, the one that I paid the most for. I may have overpaid on this, just depending on how you want to grade the condition on here. This one was from the British Mandate of Palestine, and so the details on it are pretty good, but you can tell that it's corroded, possibly cleaned as we look on the other side. But the reason I picked it up is I have not gotten a new coin to my collection from the British Mandate of Palestine in a very long time. We're talking probably at least 20 years, just because that's how expensive they are. You can find the 1 mil coin fairly easy, but anything else is incredibly hard to come by. I'm calling this very fine, and again, I don't know how to. I think it has better details than very fine, but with all the corrosion and the possible cleaning, it's hard to say what I should actually give it. on here, but the catalog would say, the Kraus catalog would say very fine is worth $7. And even Amista thinks I overpaid just a little bit on this one. But as we go back to the side that says 10 mils, has an olive wreath that goes around the center hole. This is made out of copper nickel, but they made it, they needed nickel for the war effort in World War II, so they stopped using the nickel and made it out of more of a copper or bronze for a couple of years. All right, so all the coins that we looked at in this video, there were 33 of them. I ended up paying a total of $60 for everything on here. Like I mentioned, he did not give me a discount over the price written in red on everything on here. And so that, I did look up the book value of everything in the Kraus catalog and on Numista. The Kraus catalog says the book value of everything today was $70, and the Numista says the book value, or the value of everything, was $72.80 on here. So I think that that tracks pretty good. So I didn't significantly overpay for anything, and in most of the time it was pretty close, or maybe a little bit more, less than what it was worth is what I paid. So all right, thanks for watching, and I've got other coins from the same show that I picked up that I'll show in the next video. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.